securing your future. There are many different terms. You can secure your future, or you can retirement planning or whatever, right? The best way to look at it, or the vehicle that we can use for that, is called pensions, right? So the best way, so there are multiple ways to do it. There are two ways really. You do it privately or publicly, right? Most people have no idea, so they don't do anything privately. So what happens? They're dependent on the public, which is the government or the state pension or something like that. Many different variations of how to talk about it. But really, to explain and break down the pension portion or the public side of the pension, you have to put it in this way, okay? So imagine 3 types of people, right? You have current workers, you have the government, and then you have retirees. So most people feel, when they're retiring, that every month they're funding for their own pension. So imagine your own little piggy bank, or imagine Lee, right? He has his own little fat piggy bank, it's nice pink piggy, with a little circle, with a little tail, right?
The Liverpool shirt.
Oh my God. This guy is supporting Liverpool, man. You Liverpool fans, yeah? Get in the comments and tell me why you guys are so good to me, right? Look, when you guys win the league all the time consistently, then we can talk, right? You haven't won Jack in forever. Anyway, apart from that, a little piggy bank with some little Liverpool flag or whatever, right? So every month we feel out of our gross, or Lee feels out of the gross monthly salary that he gets from his job, right? 6%, 5%, depends on the country, goes into his little piggy bank every month for the next 40 years. But after 4 years, you break it down, and then you have all the money and you can live off that for retirement. Yeah. That's how we feel it works. But in practice, I'll tell you how it works, right? So remember the 3 people. You have the current workers, people working right now, the government, and then you have the retirees, people that have already retired. So what people feel they're contributing to their own little pension, their own little piggy bank, or what Lee feels is going into his own little piggy bank, is not going there. It's just going to the government as social security tax, right? The government takes that little money and gives it to retirees. So it's actually a pay-as-you-go system. In other words, right, a redistribution of wealth. Or in other words, it's a Ponzi scheme, right? No, not a Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, right? So there are reasons why this is a big problem. Do you know why?
I do, yes.
Is there a question? Actually, there are really 2 reasons. There are 2 reasons why this is a problem. It's all about demographics. One is actually we're living longer. Now you would think, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? Living longer is great.
I'm going to live to be 100.
I mean, that's great. You get to enjoy yourself for longer and everything. That's amazing, right? But actually, it's compounded by another problem. We're not having enough kids. So what happens is that this pool of current workers is getting smaller, and this pool of retirees is getting bigger. So actually, what we right now, currently, there won't be enough people to fund us much, right? And so this is a big problem, because most people have a current lifestyle right now that is, very good, very nice. But when they hit retirement, when they hit 65 and they have another 30 years to live, they're getting like hardly anything. Yeah. We're going to show this and I'm going to break this down for you.
Yeah.
All right? Does that make sense to me?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah? So guys, this is really important. So what we're going to do right now is kind of give you like a few case studies of how this works, right? So you will see that we're going to kind of start with me first. I'm the younger one, right?
I would explain as well, like when you talked about the demographics, just to give you an idea. At the moment, actually, the average pensioner here now gets around 15,000, right? 15,000 crowns. Maybe it's okay in the village. In Prague, definitely not enough, right? The thing is, it's going to get worse, right? Because like you said, there'll be more and more pensioners. So at the moment, it takes more or less 3 of us, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You and I and one other person who's next door.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, to support this one pensioner, right? And then with these demographic changes, the lower birth rate, we're living longer, plus generations before us and my generation, there was more kids, right? And so like you said, in the future, when I get to retirement, there's going to be a lot more retirees and less workers. And actually by that point, it'll be more or less 1 worker to 1 retiree.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What kind of percentage are we talking? Like, what do you think the tax rate will be, like 50% or what?
Well, can it be? I mean, imagine that.
Actually, you know what's scarier? By 2040, which is 16 years from now, that ratio of 3-1 flips, inverts. So it will take one person to fund 3 people, 3 retirees, 1 worker funding 3 retirees. How would you like if 75% of your income or 3/4 of your income is social security tax? That's how massive and that's how scary some of these things is. So obviously the governments and businesses, they know this is a big issue. And so there's so many ways they're trying to incentivize people to take responsibility of planning their retirement. And I think you know about one of them, right?
Yeah, but
Yes, right.
yes, exactly. The old system versus the new system. But
What is DPS actually? For those that don't know.
yeah, it's a tongue twister. It's a pension fund, basically. It's just in Czech. Yeah.
Okay. So all you international people just don't like, there are some alternatives or like there's some similar things in wherever you are. But in the Czech Republic, we have DPS. Okay.
Yeah. The problem with the good thing about DPS is that you can get some contribution from your employer, right? If you have that benefit. Not everyone has that benefit. And particularly I've heard a lot of stories about expats not being informed about the benefit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Their Czech colleagues knew they're using the benefits, but the foreigners
Had no idea.
had no idea, right? So that means your employer can contribute something, which is nice, right? Get some free money. Great. You can put some money there as well, but generally there's some limitations because usually it will be a bank or maybe an investment company, but you would often have 3 choices. And based on your financial questionnaire, your investment questionnaire, you'll get recommended conservative, balanced, or dynamic. Right. Now, the problem with this is that, of course, most people that have never invested are going to get
Conservative. Yeah.
And who wants a fund that makes 2, if you're lucky, 3% yearly
3%?
for 30, 40 years? It's nothing, right?
But what's inflation though like?
Yeah, about 2.5%, 3%.
Really every year?
On average, yeah, it should be.
But last year was like 10%, right? Or 15% with COVID.
Since COVID, it went up. I think it spiked at 17.
17?
It hit 17.
So just in that year, right?
Yeah.
You kind of lost like, what is it? 12%? 15%?
Yeah. So if you were just holding your cash in your bank account, then you're losing 17.
17%. Yo. Yeah. No way. Okay. So what's the new system then? What are we talking?
A good thing also with the previous DPS pension funds that you can get tax deductions. Nice. You can also get a very small state contribution.
Okay.
I think they just increased it recently, but it was, for most part, it was only up to 230 crowns per month if you're putting there 1,000 crowns. So not much. So the state actually recognized this as a problem because if you're going to withdraw this money in your DPS before you're 60, there's penalties, right?
Yeah, so that's true.
The first penalty is you lose the 10 years of tax deductions.
Right.
This is penalty number 1. Penalty number 2, you're paying 15% tax on what the employer has.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then third penalty is you're paying 15% tax on whatever profit you make on this investment, which a lot of these funds is not that much profit, unfortunately, but so there's a lot of penalties if you withdrew before you're 60, which take into account that we're expats dealing with expats. A lot of expats won't retire here, so they'll probably take that money out before they're 60. So they're going to lose most of it.
Right.
So this is the problem. So the states, there's a pension commission, right? They're working on things, and finally they came with an idea, and it started this year. It's called DIP, which means dlouhý investiční product. So a long
Terrible Czech, right, guys? Look at this guy, man. You got it.
So it means, I'll break down in English, it means a long-term investment product, right? So this is what we focus on for retirement. It's a long-term investment, right? So the good thing with this is, firstly, you can still get the employer contributions.
All right.
Okay, the problem that I've encountered with some clients is that their employer is not set up yet for DIP. They still have the old system. Others are fine. They're like, it's the same benefit for the employer. They get their tax deductions. There's no difference for the employer. Much better for the employee. So you can get your employer contributions if you're lucky enough to have that benefit. You can get your tax deductions. Right. But I think the best thing is that you can choose any fund you want.
Yeah.
Right. So you can just go and say, actually, I want a fund that makes more money. I like S&P 500. I like a tech fund.
Okay.
You can
So
actually,
it's not just the conservative, dynamic, and then the balanced one, right? You can do whatever you want. Okay, that's pretty flexible.
yeah. So you can get your advice from your advisor or whoever to help you. And you can choose something that suits you, right? You know, I have clients that really like tech. So you can choose the tech fund, you know, so your money's going to all these tech funds, Apple, Microsoft, whatever. So you can choose your funds. You can get your employee contribution. You can get your tax deductions. There's no state contribution. Mind you, as I said, this is very minimal anyway.
Okay, that's the difference though. Okay.
So the huge advantage, apart from being able to pick your own fund, is you get your tax deductions every year, 15% back actually. So
15% of whatever you
maximum, the maximum is based on 48,000 contribution throughout the year.
Okay.
So that's 4,000 per month.
Okay.
So you can max it at 4,000 per month to get back in your pocket taxes, 15% of that. So that's 7,200 crowns every year back into your pocket. So this is a guaranteed 15% profit.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So this is good. You choose your fund that makes more money. The only downside is if you withdraw the money before you're 60, you can lose 10 years of the tax deductions.
Only just 10 years?
Maximum.
Okay.
So if you only keep it for 10 years, then you have to pay back that, say, 72,000. If you keep it for 20 years, you'll pay back that 72,000. If you keep it for 30 years,
You're just 72,000.
yeah, you only lose 10 years. Maybe the biggest loss. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you keep it to 60, you don't lose any of it. And the huge plus is with this, even if you withdraw it earlier, you're not paying taxes on the gains.
No way.
Yeah. So this is, so when we compare the former DPS to the DIP now, the DIP will make you much more money in the long run. Yeah.
And I think you said that 48,000 is a tax deduction.
Yes.
And then you also get 15% back as cash.
Yeah.
And then you're saying also gains are tax free.
Yes.
And I get to choose whatever funds I want.
Yes.
That's powerful, guys.
Yeah.
So actually that should tell you how much the government, right? They want to incentivize you to really start taking responsibility, right? So guys, it's free money. And really you can get also employer contributions too, right?
Yeah.